This is the House of Hockey podcast on the Hockey Podcast Network. Hockey is more than a game, it's a lifestyle. It's you, the diehard supportive fans, your favorite players who are on the team you cheer for, and the organization who supports them.
The companies that make your gear, bags, and beer league sweaters. The hockey moms and hockey dads, and everything else that makes this House of Hockey your home. Come on in. I'm Breezy.
And I'm Rae Rae.
And this is our house. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the House of Hockey podcast. I'm Breezy.
And I'm Rae Rae.
And this is episode 4 now, and we are joined by a really cool fan. She lives in Orange County. She's a Ducks fan, but she, follows a lot of other teams because she's more of a player follower than a team follower, I guess you could say. So we're really excited to have her on in a little bit.
Yeah, her name's Chris. She's awesome. She shared some really unique stories of traveling to go see. She travels to a lot of different arenas and cities to watch her teams and, well, rather her favorite players play. And she's even shared a really cool story about one of the players whose name is escaping me right now that really took the time to make sure that Chris, got a photo, and they have a very fan friendly camaraderie sort of dynamic where they check in with each. How do I describe this so it doesn't sound weird? Breezy, help me out.
I think it was it's a fan experience at first, but
yes.
The person that Rae Rae is trying to think of, his name is Bobby Ryan.
Thank you.
He used to play for the Ducks. He plays for the Sens. He's been in the headlines a little bit as of recent due to some personal struggles he's been going through, but it seems as though it's turned more into a personal type relationship than more of a fan to player relationship, which is really cool to hear.
Yeah, thank you for helping me out. And he's a really good guy, which you'll hear. And obviously, Chris tells the story much better than I do because it's her goddamn story. So we'll let her tell it.
And it's her guy. It's her favorite.
Exactly. So stay tuned. That'll be coming up here in just a couple of minutes, but we have to do a couple, just a little bit of check-in with each other. And
yes.
The last episode was your 30th birthday, and I'm just dying to know if 30 did you dirty or the other way around.
I feel like 30 is doing me dirty because I can't go anywhere. I had a social distancing front yard party with a couple neighbors. We sat probably about 10 feet apart. We shared an alcoholic beverage, and we just listened to some music. And that's pretty much what my birthday consisted of. I did cook some food, which was really fun. It was really, really nice and delicious. And
what'd you grill?
Yeah.
Or what kind of meat did you smoke or do? Tell me.
Yeah, so in the morning, I woke up, I woke up at 8 a.m. and I wanted to, so like I said, it's my dad's birthday as well. So one of our favorite things is burnt ends. I don't know if you've ever had burnt ends before. Usually you make it with brisket, but you cook it for a really long time. And so rather than doing that, because I didn't want to buy a giant brisket and have to go through a lot of work. So I just got some pork belly. And so I did pork belly burnt ends. I had to smoke them for 4 hours, and there's a little bit of a process that goes on. You got to check in on them every 45 minutes. So I did that for lunch, and then, we hung out. And for dinner, we did, I threw some hot dogs and hamburgers on the charcoal grill. Tried to make it like we were camping. So
that sounds good. Well, again, happy birthday. I know it's a week later, but wishing you a very happy birthday. So
Thank you.
Yeah.
So how about you? What have you been up to? I see that you've been trying to learn how to play hockey in your studio apartment.
Yeah.
How's that going for you?
Yeah. This brilliant idea I had, guys, came to me amongst this quarantine situation where I thought, I wonder because people are posting on social, like they're doing drills in their garage, and, all the players are posting, rollerblading in the house, and,
Hmm.
trying to keep up with their stuff. And I thought, gee, I wonder if I could actually learn how to play hockey in quarantine in my very narrow studio apartment. And everybody was like, yes. And I thought, well, as long as everybody who is following us and following me is going to help me and teach me and tell
Hmm.
me what the fuck to do, then I will do
Yeah.
this.
Hey,
So,
I mean, if Iron Man can build Iron Man in a cave, you can learn hockey in your studio apartment.
I mean, it's going okay. I do need to find a stick that is the proper length. I'm borrowing this stick from Jason Withy of Pacific Rink, our friend, because I he lives close by to me, and I knew he would have some sticks I could borrow. And we safe distanced when he handed me the stick. Don't worry. And
Well, it's a 6 foot stick, so you kept your distance.
I did, I
That's
did,
fine.
following
That's
the
the
rules.
Canadian social distancing measure. Just
Yes.
go around.
Just walk around with the stick everywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've been getting a lot of really great tips from people on what to do. And uh, I'm trying to stay in the apartment with as many skills and drills as possible, because I am legit very afraid to get on rollerblades, because that's where we're at right now. I'm also just
Hmm.
straight up fucking terrified to get on the ice.
Yeah.
And because I don't know if I said this on our first episode or not, but the last time I actually ice skated properly, I
Hmm.
broke my wrist. I was really
Yeah.
young, but I'm
Right.
I'm 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 like really afraid. And when you're an adult, like I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to injure
Hmm.
myself. I need to like be fully functioning. I don't have anybody who could take care of me if something happened. And
Right.
not that I would let them take care of me anyway, because I'm stubborn and I'm like, I'm fine. I can shower with one hand. Like, don't touch me.
Yeah.
Because I've broken my hand several times actually. And so, I know what to do, but I don't want to put that energy out there. But so
Right.
yeah, so I'm just trying to like really be careful, not hurt myself, not break my television or computer by like shooting pucks in here.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been really interesting and fun, and it's good to push through those fears. Like I'm a little scared every time I try to do something, but we're all
Yeah.
scared when we try something new. So
Yeah.
hopefully it's inspiring people. So are you because I know you don't skate either, ice skate,
Right. Hmm.
but are you learning to play hockey right now like me, or no? Just me?
Well, just you. No. Yeah, I mean, I know how to do a little bit of stick handling here and there. And, I played street hockey when I was younger with some neighborhood kids. I mean, nothing official. It was just like neighborhood kids. That's how we passed the time. And I taught my nephews how to play. But I'm terrified as well of getting on the ice. So when the last time I was on the ice, my sister got really hurt, and I'm like terrified of that. And then when I was playing street hockey when I was younger, I got hurt. I actually sliced my eyelid like completely open, like to the point where like it almost sliced all the way through. So I am terrified to get on it, and especially now, like I want to learn, but I mean I don't want to hurt myself and have to go to the doctor and be exposed to everything that's going on. But I do have rollerblades that I recently bought. I was recently inspired to learn or how to get back on skates, and so yeah, by a good old Canadian boy when I was up in Toronto. So he inspired me. Hopefully, I'll be able to get up and out there and learn and be better. But again, very terrified to hurt myself, especially in these times. So
Oh yeah. And it's not
yeah.
like, especially right now in quarantine, right? I can get some skates. You can go probably, skate up and down the street safely.
Hmm. Yeah.
But when you're learning, like I need somebody to hold my hand.
Yeah.
Like I need somebody there. I need a safety net. I need a
Yeah,
person.
right,
Or like, because I mean, I don't have a pile of snow I could just fall over into, or there's not
right.
really grass where I live.
Yeah,
So I mean, I guess, and the beaches are closed, so I can't
right.
go rollerblade along the paths there, which I would feel more comfortable doing, because if I fell, I could fall over into the sand, and I would
Yeah.
feel okay with that. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do, or what you're gonna do if you like go out there. Like, who's gonna hold your hand, Breeze?
I mean, I feel like I probably wouldn't want anyone to hold my hand. I feel like you gotta fail to succeed. I think that's a good motto. I don't know if it's a good motto, but I feel like you gotta fail to succeed. If you gotta fall, then you gotta fall. You just gotta get back up. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you just gotta get out there and do it and face the fear a little bit, but obviously be careful and probably should wear a helmet.
Yes.
Probably.
Oh yeah, helmet, elbow pads, wrist guard, knee pads. Like, if somebody has goalie gear they want to let me put on, like, I will put on all of the hip pads and all the things.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not all the things kind of person. I would just rather just go out there and do it, and if I get hurt, I get hurt. But
Oh, you're
but
so
I don't want to
brave.
get hurt. So I'm at that like weird stage of I'm like, I don't want to do it, but I don't really care. I just want to be good. I just want to do it. I just want to fight through it. But we'll see what happens.
Oh my
I'll keep you
gosh.
posted.
Today, when this episode is out, would technically be the start of Stanley Cup playoffs, right?
Yeah, it should be about a week out from playoffs starting. It'll be the end of the season. Um, that tiny little break period when just giving the players a little break before they go into playoffs. So yeah, here we are.
Here we are.
This week we're joined by someone who may have appeared on your Instagram Explorer page once or twice with her player photography. It's the one and only Chris, aka at All Tyler's Fault. Welcome to the House of Hockey. Super excited to have you here.
Yay, thank you so much. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. Never been on a podcast before, so this is kind of new, kind of different.
It's a new one. Well, welcome, and how about you tell us a little bit about yourself?
A little bit about me. Wow. Okay, well, a hockey fan, of course, first and foremost, a hockey fan.
Yeah.
I have teams that I like and players that I like, but I tend to follow players more so than teams. So that's kind of my deal. But when I'm not doing hockey, then my job is actually outside of the rink. I work at a hospital, and like lately that's been sort of a crazy thing. So even harder to do without my escape. Where's my hockey escape? It's horrible.
Well,
But
you have your hockey
I also
escape here with us on the podcast, on the House of Hockey
exactly,
podcast.
this is so perfect. Yeah, well, then we can still talk hockey even though we can't watch any. So that's, hey, second best thing, right?
Yeah.
So I also like music. I'm a big music fan. I play piano. I play the guitar. So I play a couple instruments, and that's fun too. So it keeps me busy.
Well,
I play the banjo.
All right. Oh my gosh,
yeah.
we need to get a band together.
Gotta get a band together.
I can do the
With a banjo and a
marketing
guitar.
and the hosting, but I can't participate in any other aspect of the band. So
you don't want to be a singer? You don't want to do some
you can be a
karaoke?
singer.
Girls,
yeah, there we go.
I cannot sing. I talk
Tambourine?
for a living. Tambourine. I could do tambourine.
You can do that.
Tambourine, okay. We'll need one of those, yeah.
Well, Chris, thank you for being a first responder and helping everybody out right now during this really crazy, uncertain time. So thank you for everything you're doing on behalf of me and Breezy and everybody listening. I know we owe you a big thank you and all the support you're giving the people at the hospital.
That's definitely appreciated. Thank you. And, my word to everybody is just do what they say. Stay indoors. Don't go out if you don't have to. And this will be over faster if you do that.
Yeah, that's true. Well, let's talk some more hockey and not hospitals, because, like you said, this is you need a little escape. We all need an escape with
Yes.
something, and
Yes.
we all really love hockey, clearly. So you said you're a hockey fan first and foremost, which Breezy and I would agree with that statement as well. So which teams do you follow, and which players do you follow? And tell us a little bit more about that, being more of a fan of certain players as opposed to teams.
Yeah. Well, started off, I wasn't one of those people who got into hockey like as a kid or had my parents introduce me to it or anything like that. My family is completely like, they don't watch hockey. They're more basketball fans. They're Laker fans. So the hockey thing came about, though. I had an ex-boyfriend many, many years ago who was a Kings fan. And his mom worked as a district manager for Staples. So he said to me one day, he's like, oh, we're going to go to the hockey game. And I'm like, hockey game? Why are we going to a hockey game? And he's like, no, it's the suite. It's the executive suite. There's free food, free booze. I'm like, oh, heck, okay, free food, free booze. I'm there. Let's go. So we went, and this was back in 2006. And, the Kings weren't doing too good in 2006. So every
Mm-mm.
time we went, I was like, why the heck are your team always losing? And he was like, they're not losing, they're rebuilding. He was like very passionate about it. And one of the games that I saw them play against was against the Ducks. And just because it pissed him off, I was like, oh, I'm going to be a Ducks fan. And he said, oh my God, no, you can't be a Ducks fan. You cannot. And so, of course, I did, just to piss him off. And so I kind of loosely followed them, but it was like such an exciting thing. Even though you've got free food, free booze, whatever, there's like guys doing amazing things on the ice. They're skating. I mean, I can't skate. No way. And
We
they're
we
like,
can't skate either. Don't worry.
oh, awesome. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't skate. I can't do any of these things they're doing. And they're just like speeding up and down the ice. And they're huge. They're like, 6'5", like huge guys actually managing to do these things and not like fall on their face. Well, some of them fall on their faces, but usually they don't. And I think a fight broke out like in one of my first games. And it was just like, yeah, this is so exciting. I love this.
Did you
And
shout
yeah.
anything when you saw them fight at all?
I'm pretty sure I did. I think at first I was like, wait, they can do that? They're actually not gonna like, where are the refs? Where are the refs? What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I have to admit, it is one of those things that will get a non-hockey fan to pay attention, is like, oh my gosh, there's fighting.
Yeah.
Now, many years later, and after all the things that they talk about with, the concussion issue and all that, I have a different view on fighting. But at the time, heck, that's what made me a fan at first. So,
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest there and give credit where it's due. But yeah, so I live in Orange County, though. So even though we went to a lot of Kings games, it was a lot easier to see the Ducks. So that made it kind of like, okay, well, if I want to get a hockey fix, then I'll go see the Ducks. And then in 2007, they won the cup, which of course I rubbed into my ex's face. And by this time, we were pretty much breaking up anyway. So I don't know if it helped our cause, but that's okay.
Would you say the freeway face-off was the cause of a breakup? Or because I feel like people who aren't like Ducks Kings fans don't really like know the extent of the freeway face-off and like the rivalry that's there.
Yeah, I really don't think it helped. I don't know if it was the direct cause, but I don't think it helped. I mean, he like hated the Ducks. And so it was, to me, I didn't really care at the time. I was like, whatever, it's hockey, it's fun. But yeah, that relationship ended, and then I was just full into the Ducks.
Well, you
And
had a Stanley Cup,
right around that
so
time too. Yeah, we had a cup, and there were some amazing guys on that team. You knew about Solani, you knew about J.S. Shiger, and they were just, they just seemed like stand-up guys. So when I saw them do different things, I thought that was, kind of a cool thing, that the club would have so many different personalities on one team. It wasn't just a team. It was like, oh, a bunch of different guys, and they have their own thing. And then I went to one of their they had a charity event one day with one of the older players, one of the veterans, and then one of the rookies. And the rookie was Bobby Ryan. but nobody knew who the heck he was or anything. And
Yeah.
I had heard about his story. This, was probably in 2009 or something. I heard about his story, what he went through and everything to get to where he was at. And it was just very inspiring. Everything he had dealt with as a kid with his family and everything. So, I went thinking, oh, wow, I'll actually get to meet this guy. This would be really neat. And when I did, I got really nervous and I couldn't say anything. I saw him and then I couldn't say anything. And I just stood there with my hands up on my, like, oh my gosh, it's him. And, and he was so sweet though. He came over, he said, oh, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. And he gave me a hug and everything. And I was really floored. Like, this guy is so down to earth. It was amazing. Right. And I decided, I'm like, oh man, you got a fan in me. I'm always going to be your fan. Yeah. And he was just, it was neat. Just even that one event, he ran into me at another event a couple months later and he recognized me. He actually came up to me. He said, hey, Chris, how you doing? And I was like, what the, oh my gosh, you remember who I am? And it was amazing. Like, he doesn't have to pay any attention to anybody, really. He's just there to play his sport and do his thing. And, to spend that extra time with a fan, it was like, maybe just a couple minutes. But to me, it was like, wow, this is just incredible. So then he went on later that year and scored that hat trick against the Kings, and then everybody knew who he was. So it was like one of those things. It's like, oh, okay, now he's really popular and everybody loves Bobby Ryan. But he's actually been just an amazing person to me. He's kept in touch with me too through all these years. So that's,
hey, you'll have to tell him
so
you were on an awesome podcast and he should come on. Oh,
hey, I'll send him the link. I'll be like, he does give a very candid interview, so but so the Ducks are my home team because that's how I get to see all the other teams when they come to Anaheim. I get to see them play there. So of course now I'm a huge Sens fan too. I followed Bobby when he got traded, and that organization, there's no shortage of drama with them. I swear, it's like they're a lightning rod for it. Crazy. So of course there's him, and then various Duck players that I've grown to love. Usually it's because they do an event where they're doing outreach with the fans, either a community event or a fundraising event, and you get to actually see what their personalities are like. So that's the kind of thing that I really like. The guy doesn't have to be a superstar or anything, but if he just seems to be a hard worker, who's also just a really nice person, then that's like my kryptonite. Then I'm all about you. This is awesome.
Yeah, that's true. It doesn't take much to be a decent person. So when you find a decent person, it's easy to be a fan of them.
Exactly. And it doesn't matter so much what team they're on, because I tend to like the players and the personalities a little bit more than the teams. The teams, I just look forward to, hey, okay, this team's coming to town. When are they going to be at Staples? When are they going to be in Anaheim? So I can see them play.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've seen on your Instagram that you've traveled to quite a few arenas. What would you say is probably like your favorite trip that you've gone on, or favorite arena? Like, was there a cool spot you visited or anything like that you feel like is beneficial for people listening to make them want to travel to more road games?
Yeah. Actually, a lot of people do it now, which
they do.
Is good to see. A lot more people do it now than like maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
I think like my first road trip was out to Arizona. And that was because I was following a player, of course.
Who were you following? Which player?
It was Matthew Lombardi. I don't know if you remember him. I mean, he's since retired, but a couple of my first Ducks games were against the Flames. I have no idea why, but it was always Ducks versus Flames. I think maybe nobody was coming to those games, so those were the ones that were cheap. I'm not sure, but yeah. So I saw them play the Flames all the time, and he was like this speedy little guy that was just going all over the place on the ice. And I'm like, who the heck is that? Number 18, who is that guy? And I looked him up. This is before a lot of social media took off too. So, you had to actually look somebody up. You had to actually like go find their interviews online if you wanted to see something. It wasn't just fed into your Twitter feed like it is now, or on your
Right.
Instagram like it is now. But yeah, so I heard his interviews. He seemed, once again, like one of those hardworking, really nice guys, just very down to earth. So I was like, oh, I really like that player. And then he got traded to Arizona. And I was like, oh, Arizona is so much closer than Calgary. I can do this. So yeah, so that was the summer of 2010 or something. I went on my first road trip, got in a car, drove 5.5 hours to Arizona, Glendale. Actually, I took a friend with me. We were like, yeah, let's go, let's do it. And Arizona at the time they had a promo for their home opener. It was against the Columbus Blue Jackets. But they were like, okay, $25 buys you a lower bowl ticket and a free t-shirt. So we're like, oh my gosh,
that's ridiculous.
Stuff.
Yeah.
$25 for all of that. So we're like, oh, let's do it. So yep, we went. They got their butts handed to them. It was horrible, but it was still an awesome game. Lower bowl. We got the t-shirts. We drove back to California like, oh, we're doing this again. We have to do this again. So since then, I go out to Arizona like 3 or 4 times a season, just, to see the Coyotes play, and sometimes against the Ducks. Sometimes, it actually doesn't really matter. I can watch any team play, really. But it's just fun, and I've met people there. I have some really great hockey friends that are Coyotes fans, and, nobody ever thinks, they always go, oh, Coyotes, they don't have any fans. Actually, it's a very passionate fan base. They've, had some hard knocks with the arena situation and everything, but it's a really good fan base. And the team knows it too. The team, they kind of go out of their way to do events for the fans because they know they can't just survive on their name alone. They're not going to fill the seats just because, oh, it's a hockey game. No, they do the outreach, and they do the clinics for kids to grow the sport. And it shows in the stuff that they do. So
Chris,
that's one of my favorite road trips.
Who are some of your players that you're following, currently?
Currently, oh goodness. Let's see. David Perron. I've liked him since his first stint in the Blues organization, and now he's on his third. Is that what it is? Something like that. Yeah. Back and forth. He was a Duck for a while, and then he went back to St. Louis, and then ended up in Vegas, and then back to St. Louis. So I follow him. And Tyler Seguin, of course. Look at the guy.
Anytime. I'll look at him anytime, any day, anytime every Sunday on Hunks of Hockey feed.
So wait, is that how you got your Instagram name? Was from Tyler, or is it different?
Well, yes, actually.
Oh, so tell everybody the Instagram handle again, and then tell us the story.
The handle is all Tyler's fault, and it's because it's all his fault. That's why I have Instagram. I had a bunch of friends tell me, oh my gosh, you do photography. You need to get on Instagram. You should put your stuff on there. And I was like, I don't want to do more social media. I already have Twitter. It takes too much of my time as it is. And then they told me, oh, well, Tyler Seguin posts on there. You should see some of his videos. You should see some of his pics. Sometimes he's shirtless. And I'm like, oh crap, okay, I have to check this out. So I started the Instagram, and it's all Tyler's fault because he's the reason I'm on there.
I love it. That is a great story. And so
not too many people know that.
Now everybody does.
I know, including probably him if he sees this though. Oh crap.
He's gonna love it. Are you kidding? Come on. The guy posts pictures of himself without a shirt on any chance he can get. He wants to hear that.
He's actually, the couple times I've met him, he's really cool, very chill guy.
Yeah.
Who else have you met? What are some of the other players and stories? Do you have any great stories you can share of meeting players besides the one you shared?
Yeah, I have a lot of crazy stories, strange things happen.
Give us one.
Oh my gosh. What's a good
We're sitting here. Come on already. Just give us one.
I know. Well, I went with a friend to the NHL awards show. This is something, they do it in Vegas every year. And the first couple of times they started letting fans go, I went to support Bobby. He was nominated for a Calder's, probably 2009 or 2010 or something. And they had no idea what to do with the fans that were there. So they kind of just let us walk all over the place, which was great because, you go into a place and you realize, oh, there's players here. Oh, there's players here. And then they started to get a little bit more, wise to it. And they were like, okay, they set up ropes and areas where you could be and couldn't be. All right. But it was still fun to go. They had a lot of things for fans to see. And, even if you weren't going to the actual awards, I think I went to the awards just once.
Okay.
Because otherwise it's like a $400 ticket. Like, ooh, for an
And you
award
don't
show,
really,
I don't want to spend $400. So.
Yeah, and you don't really get anything out of it. I mean, it's just like the players half of them don't even really speak really good English, and they're just like, bye.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was more like, I don't really want to do the awards show, but I do want to do the red carpet because I have to have my camera there and I'll be shooting them on the red carpet. And as long as I get an opportunity to take some good pictures, then I'm all about it. So we'll do the free stuff like that. I dragged a friend along with me, although she didn't really have to be dragged. She was like, oh yeah, let's go. So it was the 2015 one, and we did the red carpet. So we saw everybody walk down in their suits, and there was like Carey Price in a really sharp suit, and Pecorine, who I swear was like the Susan Lucci of the Vesna. All the time, always nominated, never won it. I'm like, oh my gosh, Pekka, one of these years is going to be your year. But he was there, very nice. Most of the guys were really nice, and they looked good, and it was like, it's a nice event. Yeah. And then as it was wrapping up the red carpet, a guy approached us. He was in a suit. He came up to me and he said, how many are in your party? I'm like, how many in my party? I don't know, why? And he said, oh, because I've got 3 tickets. You have 3 people? And I'm like, shoot, yes, 3 people. Okay, sure. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, it's me and my friend, but we can find a third. Just give me your tickets if that's what you're giving me. And so, yeah, he gave us tickets to the show. And it had a pass for the actual bottom floor of the show where all of the players sit before they go up and get their awards too. So my friend and I were like, holy crap. And we invited some other random fan who was standing there too. We're like, hey, you want to go? Okay. So he went. Yeah. He was a Philly fan. So he's wearing a Flyers jersey. I'm wearing my Senators jersey. My friend, I think she wasn't even wearing a jersey. She's wearing like a denim jacket, but we were like totally casual.
Yeah.
And all these other players are in suits and their wives are in gowns, and we're just like sticking out like sore thumbs. But they basically gave us those tickets. We went in, we sat down on the floor with all of the players around us, and it was like, oh my gosh, look, there's Brent Burns. Oh my gosh, there's Carey Price. It was amazing. It was so cool. And after the award show, we were all herded into the same room off stage. So now you're like standing there in this room with Pecorine on one side and Gary Hoodler on the other side and Sidney Crosby right here in front of you, Jonathan Tate. It was like we died and went to heaven, and we didn't know how long that was gonna last. So we were like trying to go around and get pictures with as many players as possible.
Yeah,
it was hilarious, but it was awesome, and it was just like, Patrice Bergeron. That's where I got the one picture with Chris Letang where he's in his tux and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing.
Wow.
We were probably stuck in that room with them for maybe like an hour, but it was like the best hour of my life.
Geez, so rather than 7 minutes in heaven, you're like 60 minutes in heaven.
Oh yeah, that was just incredible, and for free. So we didn't even have to pay to go to the show.
And I'm assuming the players were all pretty, friendly and nice and happy to talk to you, right? Did you have any interesting conversations or anything with any of them?
The actual Senators players that were there, because I was wearing my Senators jersey, they were like, "Are you from Ottawa?"
You're like,
I'm like, "No, actually, I'm from California." And they're like, "We have fans in California." It was funny. It was Cody Ceci and Mark Stone. So they were pretty funny about it. Daniel Alfredson was there too, and that was like, oh my gosh, Alfie. So we took a picture with him.
Wow.
Yuri Hudler was walking around with his shoes in his hand because he said they were hurting his feet. So he's like got, an award under one arm and his shoes under his other arm. And he's like, yeah, let's take a picture. But he's like, knocking people with his elbows. He was hilarious. He was
in Vegas. So he just basically looked like a bachelorette just stumbling out of the casino at like 5 a.m.
Exactly. With his sore feet. I mean, I think he was just like wearing socks throughout the entire casino. Like,
what a hockey guy. What a hockey guy.
Oh, seriously. But yeah, that was a good time. that's probably the one where you just surrounded by hockey royalty and it was too good to
Yeah.
be true. But
Right.
yeah.
Well, speaking of events that you've gone to, I mean, have you gone to like a Winter Classic, a Stadium Series, anything like that? And I mean, do you have a favorite one that you've gone to or anything like that?
Oh gosh. I just went to the Winter Classic just this past January, the one that was in
Okay.
Dallas,
Yeah.
against the Predators. When they
Uh-huh.
announced it was going to be in Dallas, we're like, oh, I'm going because it's
Yeah.
not going to be 30 degrees below and some
Yes.
snowstorm. So I wanted
Yes.
to go. I wanted to mark that off my list, and for it to be there. I like Dallas. I follow enough of them, so
Right.
Well, and
I
we
thought
know
I would
you
go
like
to Dallas for
Tyler,
it.
so there was no reason for you to not go see Tyler play.
Yeah, there is Tyler. Yes, of course. So that was a lot of fun. Just to have so many people in one place was amazing. All watching hockey, very cool. Everybody was
Yeah.
nice. Didn't have any problems with people, and even the Preds fans that were there. There was a good amount of Preds fans there. We were
Yeah.
impressed. Everybody came out. It was really exciting.
So, Chris, one of our guests who've been on the podcast, her name's Elena, Life of Elena on Instagram, and we had her on, and she went to the Winter Classic as well in
Oh, cool.
Dallas and had
Uh-huh.
an interesting experience. And there was a lot of crowd control sort of challenges there. Did you find that to be the same
Mm.
experience for you, like running out of food and stuff, or was it, all positive and puppies and rainbows?
Not too many puppies and rainbows. I think they could have handled people arriving at the arena in a better way because I felt like it was just a bottleneck and everybody was jam packed in one area and couldn't get through. So
Mhm.
because you had to pass through the same area to either get to the concessions and stuff that were outside. This was all on the fairgrounds. And then you had to pass through that same area again just to get into the arena. Then it just turned into this horrible mass of people. So whereas my friends and I had planned to try to spend some time, eating the food and everything, we actually were like, this is not moving. Let's just get to our seats. We don't want to
Oh,
miss
wow.
anything.
Well, you're there
So
for the game. The concessions
yeah,
are a part of it, but you're there for the game anyway. And the game
yeah.
experience, I'm sure, was phenomenal. Would you say,
Oh
did
yeah.
you have a good time with that? And would you go to another, outdoor classic?
The game was just incredible. I think I would go again, but again, it depends on the the weather. I mean, those of us, I mean, you guys know you live in California. I live
Yeah.
in California. I was born in Texas, but live in California now. So we don't do snow and ice the way other people do snow and ice. We, I mean, the only ice I like is the ice on the rink and the ice in my drink, and that's it. I don't want it, you know,
Yeah.
accumulating in places. Yeah. So, I mean, I have winter clothes, but I don't think we understand winter the way it happens in Minnesota or
Yeah.
in
No.
Pittsburgh or in Canada.
Well, I'm from Chicago, Chris. So like
So,
I grew up in winter, cold, really
okay. Yeah.
really cold climates and stuff, but I haven't
Okay.
lived there in like almost 15 years. So it would be a tough,
Oh,
I would be freezing. Like when I saw that the Winter Classic
yeah. I was
is,
going to say,
when I saw that the next one's going to be in Minnesota, I mean, depending on what happens with the state of the world right now, but if there is a Winter Classic in Minnesota, I was like, yeah, I think I'm going to have to do a hard pass on that one. Like,
See, I'm the opposite. I'm like, I want to go. Like, I
really?
want like that
oh
winter
gosh,
experience where it's
really?
like it's snowing. Like, I want the full thing. I mean, it's like everyone's shaking
Wow.
their head no.
No, I'm
Well,
saying
you
no.
go, girl.
Yeah,
We
you
can we
go.
can do you can do your podcast from there, and then we can just report to you from our living rooms, and you can be like, outside
Yes,
girl in
I'll
the
have a
rink, like
microphone. Ray, I'll borrow your microphone and be like,
perfect.
reporting live from the winter.
They're gonna be
there
like
you go.
reporting live from the Minnesota, and Chris and I are
uh,
gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, it's so hot out. We can't even wear our jerseys to watch this game. It's too
Oh my
hot."
gosh. Yeah,
just
we'll be
give
there
me
in our
a
short sleeves.
just give me a shot of whiskey. I'll be fine.
Okay, let's see. Go ahead.
You know
Let's
what? That's
make
true
this
though.
happen.
It's
That's
true.
true though.
Whiskey
If
warms
you
you
if you
up.
drink more, then yeah, you'll be all nice and toasty, and who knows how much of the game you'll remember, but you drink enough and you'll be nice and warm.
Yeah. Hey, that's okay. I'll take one for the
They
team, guys, and I will gladly go to the Winter Classic.
There you go. If they do a Winter Classic in Arizona, I'm there. I will definitely
Yeah.
be there for that.
Oh yeah.
But probably not in the winter areas. Although I like cold weather. The arenas that I've seen in Canada are just phenomenal. They do hockey so different, and it's amazing. I was stuck in Ottawa uh,
That sounds
December a couple
already a
years
little,
ago.
you're like, I was stuck in Ottawa. This is
Oh
going to be
my
a good
gosh,
story.
this was bad though. Oh,
What happened?
so we get there, right? And we didn't understand that the hotel, okay, is a certain 2 miles away from any type of food, right?
Oh,
And so we're plowing through the snow. It's December, it's negative 15 degrees, and there's like wind chill like crazy. And we have to walk 2 miles to get food in the snow outside.
and you got to go find
I, you
a
know,
liquor store for alcohol. You can't just,
gosh, they
go
didn't even
anywhere.
have that.
Oh, no.
It was bad. I was dragging my poor husband along. Actually, I'm lucky I'm still married. That was a bad thing. He was so upset. So after that, though, I planned my other, winter hockey trips much better. The ones in Canada where we weren't going to get stuck walking 2 miles in negative 15-degree weather.
Yeah,
Oh
but it
man.
makes for a good story, right? And
I
you,
told Bobby we went through that for him.
and
And
what
you
did he
shouldn't.
say?
He said you shouldn't have. He's like, what? Why? Why did you do
He's like, you California girl, don't know better. You're not supposed to
that?
do
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure he got a good laugh. Oh my gosh, that was so bad. But hey,
It's good. Tell us a little bit more about your photography. You listed off some of your a little bit about you at the beginning of the episode, and uh, Breezy mentioned it in the intro with your Instagram, where you're a photographer and you take pictures of the players. And tell us how you got into that, and what you sort of do when you go to games, and how you incorporate that photography.
yeah. Well, I've always done photography. I worked for the newspaper when I was in high school and then in college, and I would shoot sports, shoot whatever they wanted me to shoot. And then with the hockey thing, it just turned into, I took my camera to a game, and I guess it just kind of came together because I've always liked taking pictures anyway. And it was kind of neat. If you are on the glass a couple times and some players see you taking pictures, some of them will do things like they'll make funny faces. They'll smile. Yeah, a few of them have some pretty, I've had Radulov come up to me with his stick and just go, ah, and start banging the glass in front of me because, he's a crazy man.
Yeah.
And yeah, he totally, yeah, it was crazy. So sometimes you get responses like that too. But yeah, it's just become one of these things where I really love to go to the game and hang out either. Usually it's the visitor side because it'll be Ducks games, and I've taken pictures of the Ducks. That's okay. I'm here for the other team, usually the away team, whoever they happen to be. And if I can position myself near the bench, you get some really great shots. You get guys drinking, you guys spraying themselves with water, which is always a nice shot. Just,
Yeah.
sometimes you get sometimes you get guys like kind of having fun with other guys or pushing each other, or they're talking at center ice, or it's kind of neat. And the way I shoot, I kind of do like more of a portrait style, so it isn't your typical sports photography. I would probably have to have glass seats for the game to be able to shoot an actual sports photography sort of thing in action, and I can't
Yeah.
afford that. That's just way too. So warm-ups, warmies, I will be on the glass. I will be shooting as long as they let me do that. Honda Center's gotten kind of strange with the camera policy, so it's not always something I
Yes,
can do.
I was there
Yeah,
for
which
the women's,
sucks.
the USA Canada game, with the women's team
Oh,
that
huh.
was there, and they
Yeah.
were being like very weird. A friend of mine had a camera, and he likes to take pictures as well, like during,
Yeah.
the breaks and stuff, the intermission, and like during the warm-ups and stuff, and they were like, no, 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 and like being really weird about it. So
Yeah, that started happening maybe the last 2 seasons, which is really disappointing because that's, you know, that's part of the big part of why I like going to games too, is to catch warm-ups and be able to take those pictures. Staples Center though has always been like a really great place to shoot. They've got the best lighting, their glass is clean, which is nice. These are the things that matter when you're trying to get a good shot. And they're always really cool about it. Like, I've never had issues with, you know, Staples security giving me a hard time or anything. And I mean, it's not like a professional camera. It's obviously somebody that's just taking fan pictures. You know, it's not like I go and sell them or anything like that. But what's neat is that sometimes the players get used to you doing that, and they'll see, like, if I post a picture and I tag them on it, the next thing I know, they're using that picture for their like Twitter avatar or for their Instagram avatar. And it's like the biggest honor to see that and be like, oh my gosh, he likes my picture and he's going to use it.
That is
I've had
awesome.
some guys, really like go out of their way to ask me for pictures too. Some guys have done that, you know, they'll like slide into my DMs and say, hey, can I get a copy of that picture? And I'm like, sure. So yeah,
Are you
it's
not like
actually
freaking out
really
when you
awesome.
get those DMs and you have like the blue check
Oh,
mark from their name and you're like, oh my God, he's sliding in my
totally
DMs? I would
freaking
be
out.
geeking out.
No, seriously, I have like chills right now just talking about it. I have like goosebumps. But yeah, and you're just like, oh my gosh, what is this? So yeah, it's awesome, and you know, just yeah, and it's another thing too. Just goes to show how down to earth some of these players are. That they feel like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'll just, you know, she's a fan. I'll just contact her and see if, you know, she'll give me a copy of the picture. Like, you know, that easy. It's not like, oh, you know, I'm untouchable and I go through my
Yeah.
agent or whatever. No, you know, they're very nice guys. And it's the same way somebody would just ask a friend for one. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I noticed that you post a lot of happy birthday shout outs to them. I mean, how do you keep track of all these birthdays? I'm just like, how does she know it's their birthday without like,
Oh my
it seems
gosh.
like you're so on top of it. Do you have like a spreadsheet or something that's just like, oh,
No.
it's
The easiest way I found to actually use pictures of everybody I take is to do their birthdays, because everybody has a birthday. So at one point during the year,
oh,
I'll be able to use their picture and post a happy birthday. It really doesn't have anything to do with like who my favorites are. Although if you're my favorite, most likely I'm taking pictures of you.
yeah,
But even, you know, other guys on the team, I might not know who it is, but I got a great picture of somebody doing something. So I'll find out who he
yeah.
is. Okay, when's his birthday? Okay. But I use a site. It's hockeyreference.com,
Mm-hmm.
and they actually have a lot of great spreadsheets, and you
Yeah.
can sort everybody in there by birth date. So all I have to
Oh,
do is type up, okay, March 26th, whose birthday is March 26th, and it gives me all the players that were born on that date. So then I can just, you know, look and see, okay, well, who do I have a picture of? Oh, I have a picture of this guy. Okay, I'll post that. So yeah, that's kind of how that started up. And just because I
gotcha.
don't have a picture of him doesn't mean that I don't wish him a happy birthday. It just means I don't have a picture.
Yes, that is so cool that you've got all that. So let's keep with the one more player question for you, since we're talking about the players. Who's your current top MVP favorite player in the league currently?
Oh gosh, MVP. That is a hard question. There's so many different reasons why somebody could be MVP
Or
too.
your favorite player that you love watching play right now? It doesn't have to be like the best in the league, but you know, in your
Oh,
opinion, who's your favorite person to watch play?
well, I still love watching Bobby. I still have to support Bobby Ryan because, you know, he's my boy. And now that he's back, I can watch him play. But I really love watching, you know, David Perron play. I like his style. I tend to like kind of the pesky guys. You know, the agitators that some people hate. But like Antoine Roussel, I love Antoine Roussel. I know everybody can't stand the guy, and you know they'll say, "Oh, he's such a," but
Yeah.
he's like the sweetest guy, and he's so good to his fans, and he's hilarious. Some of the stuff
Yeah.
that he does on the ice, you're just like, "What the hell is he doing?"
So then what
But
are your
anyway,
thoughts
yeah,
on
him.
Brad Marchand?
Oh gosh. Well,
Not a fan.
if not, no, I'm not a fan. Sorry, Brad. If
That's
you
too pesky for you. That's too extreme.
I
licking
think you should
people's
keep your tongue in
faces.
your mouth. Yeah, you should keep your tongue in your mouth. That then, ugh,
All right.
yuck. He
That's
kind of,
funny.
yeah, I think he goes over the line a little bit. But I don't know. Maybe if I was a huge Bruins fan, then I would say, I love the guy. I love how he riles the other guys up and he gets people into it. So I can see both sides, but personally, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I think he's good for the game. I think he's good for the league.
Yeah.
I think it adds a little reason to get people extra fired up at the shenanigans he pulls. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's a little strategic on his part.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to know when you can try to get away with that stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to end up on the bench.
Yeah.
So then who is your hunk, like your number one hunk? Is it Sagan?
Probably Tyler. It would have to be Tyler. Yeah.
What
But there's
about,
a lot of really good looking guys in the league. I mean, shoot.
oh yeah. I think hockey has the best looking guys like across the board.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Next to tennis?
Henrik
No, I'm just kidding.
Tennis. Who watches
Are you thinking
tennis?
Federer?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
But
Hank.
like, yeah, Hank, I mean, amazing, right? He's a good looking guy. Patrice Bergeron, really good looking. And I like Chris Letang. There's a lot of guys out there that,
So who's your
turn your
favorite
eye.
hockey lady? So do you have like a woman in hockey that you really admire or like to follow from like on or off the ice? Like a player's wife or a broadcaster or a player on, one of the
Kendall
women's.
Schofield. Yeah, she's awesome too. Kendall Coyne Schofield. I like listening to her do her broadcasts, and she's good with the color. As far as like me, a hockey lady personality, I don't know if you guys follow her, but JT Brown's wife, Lexi. I think
No.
her Instagram is Lexi Lafleur. Oh my gosh, hilarious. Her stuff is just so funny because it's her and the kids and, living the life of a hockey wife.
That's funny.
She's very entertaining. If you don't follow her, you should.
I'm doing it right now.
You know who else is really entertaining to watch? Well, when she posts on
Yeah, I
the
was going to say, are
stories.
you looking her up?
You guys should check out Courtney Muzzin.
Ooh.
She is hilarious. All she does is just
Okay.
make fun of Jake Muzzin pretty much every story, and she's hilarious. And she has like this super like high-pitched voice that she talks in, and you're just like, wow, I did not know that I needed this in my life, but I'm glad it's here.
She's got a private
Oh
account,
my
just so you
gosh.
know. So I put in a request
Oh,
for
is she private
Courtney.
right now? Maybe she's getting.
Yeah. Not the one you
I think
said.
she'll let you follow.
We'll see.
Oh, okay. Yeah, try to get Lexi Lafleur on
Yes.
your follow list too, because she's funny. There's a lot of poop jokes too, because her kids I think are going through potty training, so she has a lot of poop jokes.
I'll think that's funny. I like that kind of humor.
So
Oh, that's funny. Well, speaking of, I guess I don't even, what were we just talking about? Oh, favorite
Poop.
hockey ladies.
gosh, I don't even know anymore. Okay.
Hockey ladies, yeah.
No, I just got completely sidetracked by poop jokes, and I. Anyway, do you have like a favorite hockey city? Whether you've have been to this place or you're dying to go to this place, like is there a city that's just fresh in your mind at all times, where you're just like, this is the city I got to go to, or anyone should go to?
That's a tough one. After I go to a city and I see the arena and I spend the time there, then I feel like that's my favorite city. It's like every city I've just been to is my favorite city. I'd have to say though that Montreal was awesome. We did Toronto and Montreal back in November, and it was just like, before that I think my favorite arena was Vegas because of the whole entertainment thing, and they do such a good job at that. It's Vegas, that's their thing.
Yeah.
But like for the whole history of hockey, Montreal just does it like nobody else.
Really?
And the city is very charming, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
But then on top of that, you have this, it's almost like a church. Like you go there and everybody worships hockey. and it's just this whole thing. We did the tour of the Bell Center, which was only like $15. Highly recommended. If you ever go to Montreal, you have to do the tour of the Bell Center.
How do you get to the tour? Do you like ask them? Is it
It's
like a
no, it's
sign?
actually they sell tickets on Ticketmaster, and then you just
Oh,
get a ticket like you would to a game, and you pick a date. Pick a date that they don't have a game because then they'll take you into locker rooms.
oh,
So yeah, so pick a
fun
date
fact.
that's not a game day. Exactly. This is my tip: how to make it the best trip. And then you go, yeah, you go to the tour. You do the tour. They have ones in French and ones in English. So obviously, if you don't speak French, don't take the French tour.
Although it might be
But
kind
they'll
of
take
fun.
you. I think they'll make fun of you the whole time.
Probably, and you
Maybe.
wouldn't even know it because you can't understand
Yeah,
French.
exactly. You wouldn't even. But they take you up into the press area, which is above the arena. So you get to see that. You get to see like the press room afterwards, where the coach will do his speaking and everything. Where the drop, what is that, backdrop?
Step and
Yeah, the
repeat.
television backdrop. Yeah, with the podium and everything. So they take you into that room. They show you the locker rooms. They show you all the history on their walls. They take you into like the alumni room, because there's an alumni room where only they get to sit. There's a little corner where only Jean Beliveau's family gets to sit, and you get to actually go in there and sit in the chair. Like, oh, yay!
Crazy.
So if you're a hockey fan, this was like amazing. They have all these paintings on the walls of every single captain they've ever had, and that's in their captain's room. So you get to go check that out, and it's incredible. And at the end of the tour, if you keep your ticket, they give you like 20% off in their gift shop. So don't buy anything until after the tour, when you have your tour ticket as your coupon.
This is
All right.
excellent advice. I've not been to Montreal. It's on my list to go to
Oh,
Mine
Canadians
too.
you have
game.
to go. That's
Okay.
just, it's phenomenal. And I mean, the feel of it in the arena when they start the show and everything, they've got all the lights, and it's different. It's different to experience it there and to hear the Canadian anthem there with all of the people singing along.
Yeah.
It's just really, really neat.
That's a church
That's
I can
cool.
get behind, like a hockey church.
Yeah, seriously. Exactly, exactly. Like
Well, thank
I would
you.
have to say Montreal. Mhm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Chris. You have so many amazing stories and experiences, and you gave us so many great tips now too with traveling and hockey experiences. So thank you for taking the time to come on and talk some hockey with us. And why don't you tell everybody one more time where they can follow you on social media?
Great. Well, the Instagram is at all Tyler's fault, all one word. And then there's also a Twitter account. If you guys want to follow that, you can follow that. It's at Coyote Ducks 54. And I just wanted to thank you guys too for letting me come on and talk a little bit. This was a lot of fun. If you ever need anybody to, give you arena tips or whatever, I've gone to over half of them, so I could give you some tips and everything. When I go, it's all about the hockey and the food. So yeah,
Oh,
I'm on Yelp and finding all the good restaurants and then seeing the games. So I'm willing to come on anytime and share with y'all.
Definitely
awesome.
have you back when hockey is back and people start going again, and we'll definitely have you do little tips. We can have you do a fun segment where you give your tips on what to do in each city and arena.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for coming over to our House of Hockey podcast and hanging out with us. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode. And in the meantime, you can follow us on social media. Just look for House of Hockey podcast. We'll be back next week.